Yo dudes!
Welcome to €1 healthy whole food stew.
This is quick, tasty. We went into Super Value this morning. We spent $5.91. This will make 5 to 6 portions, so it is approximately €1 for your dinner.
It's low in calories, it's oil free, it's high in fiber, and it's great if you want to lose weight, sustain weight, and it's super healthy. So first step, we've got a wide bottom pan. We're going to pop it on a high heat.
So while Dave's heating that up, we're going to use scallions, as we call them, in this island. They're also known as spring onions, but technically they're not.
They were 49 cents this morning. Okay, so we've got a wide bottom pan on a high heat. We're not going to use any oil, so it's nice and hot now. We're going to add our chopped scallions or spring onions and 2 cloves of garlic. We've simply finely chopped the cloves of garlic.
So in go the scallions first. If you are going to cook with no oil, just make sure the pan is non-stick and it's hot. But for those of you who want to cook with oil, cool, great. It's going to distribute the heat a little bit better and encourage more browning and caramelization. So whatever works for you.
Just giving you options. Okay, so I've got 2 cloves of garlic I just prepped. I'm going to add them in too.
The reason why we're putting garlic in a little bit later is just that it tends to cook quicker, and if it does overcook, it tends to have a bitter flavor.
You can smell it straight away. Okay, so we've got 150 grams of mushrooms. We're going to finely chop them or slice them.
So while the mushrooms are cooking in, I'm going to chop the sweet potatoes. We have 750 grams of sweet potatoes. I'm going to leave the skin on, cut off any blemishes, and just give them a good scrub.
They were only €1.19 this morning, so they're pretty good value at the moment.
So obviously with most starchy veg, the smaller you cook it, the quicker it will cook. And try to cut them to a uniform size so they'll cook evenly.
Okay, so I fried that down for about 4 minutes, the mushrooms. You'll note now they're starting to stick to the bottom of the pan. If you're not using oil, you see this caramelization. What I'm gonna do to deglaze it, I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of water, or veg stock in this case, and simply just scrape off and incorporate all that flavor.
So with cooking, you are a wizard, a master of flavor. You are trying to control and not lose any flavor. So here's our 750 grams of chopped sweet potato. Note I did chop them quite finely because I want them to cook quicker. So they're going straight into the pan, and we're gonna sweat these. So I'll show you how to do that now.
So it looks like a huge amount of sweet potato, and I guess it is. Very important when you're adding any kind of root vegetable like this is to season by adding at least a teaspoon and a half of salt. It's just going to help break down the cell walls and
allow their moisture to come out to encourage more steaming. So we're going to go from frying to steaming here. So currently frying, the heat is coming from the bottom. Steaming, we're going to be cooking with moisture. So in goes our veg stock.
So I've got 500 ml of veg stock. I'm going to add that in. I'll leave the heat up nice and high for now.
We're putting the lid on. So this is going to trap the moisture and enable the sweet potatoes to steam and sweat in their own juices in a bit of veg stock.
Okay, so we've left the sweet potatoes to steam for probably only 10 minutes, and they're perfect. They're done. They're starting to stick into the bottom of the pan.
The thing you want to notice is that they're melting in your mouth texture. Wow.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open. We've got 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. We just bought the regular.
We got 1 plum and we got 1 chopped. Plum will just add a bit more texture to it. Obviously, if you have children and they don't like texture, go for 2 tins of chopped.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a great hack which we did was we bought
this is from the great Shawnee Cal. So we brought 3 tins of cheapest tomato sauce baked beans as possible.
We got 3 of them for less than €1. I think they were 31 cents or something. So this is a great hack now.
What I'm doing here is I'm just gonna drain the tomato sauce and the kind of sugar out of the beans. So literally what it does, it gives us haricot beans for very cheap. So what that gives is about 600 grams of cooked haricot beans. In they go.
Beautiful. Pretty nice. So the dish is starting to catch a little bit on the bottom. I'm going to go in with probably another 100 ml of veg stock. I'll put the exact quantities down in the recipe.
Okay, time to add a lot more nutrition to this.
Okay, so this is a great one. So we've got 200 grams of spinach. It was on special today in Super Value, so we're just going to add it all in. So this is a huge amount of spinach. It's going to wilt down into very, very little.
And also it's going to release a little bit more moisture, which is going to add more nutrition and more moisture to our sauce. Okay, cool. So while Dave's stirring, I'm just going to taste and adjust the seasoning. So this is the part, many people think seasoning is like a dark art. Seasoning, you're trying to balance the 5 elements of flavor. So I'm going to start with David's dear friend, umami.
Jeez, I can't believe how much. That was 200 grams of spinach and it's really just gone down into nothing.
So I'm just going with 2 tablespoons of umami juice, also known as tamari. Tamari is a byproduct of the miso production. Next step, we're going to go with a little bit of simple curry powder. Obviously, you don't have to add it if you don't want to. It's just going to add a little bit more flavor. I'm just going to go in with 1 tablespoon, so it's subtle. A little bit of ground black pepper.
But there you have it, the dish is beautiful. Final, last ingredients is if you want to give it a squirt of lime or lemon.
Generally you'll add kind of a vibrant acid such as lime or lemon right at the end. I just went with just a tiny little squeeze of it, didn't even go with half of it. It's just going to kind of sit in the surface, it'll add this freshness, this vitality that'll cut through kind of the stodginess of the beans.
Boom, lunch is ready. Beautiful, simple, easy, wholesome, healthy.
€1 dinner for weight loss.
It will feed at least 5 people. This will freeze well. It'll last well in the fridge.
There's a lot of flavor and there's a real underlying sweetness. The beans just kind of melt in your mouth texture. There's a nice bang of the spinach coming through. It really tastes rounded, balanced,
interesting,
and delicious.
Sorry for interrupting. An interesting thing in terms of Okinawa, which are some of the longest living, in the blue zones, they found Okinawa were some of the longest living people. They had the most amount of centenarians. And they found 70% of their diet was based of sweet potatoes. So it's a great dish incorporating lots of sweet potatoes, so really worth trying. The full written recipe, there's a link to it down below. And as we said, we're going to do live cook-alongs or Q&As. Do comment below, let us know what you'd like us to do, and if you press the bell, you'll get notified when we're starting.
Thanks for watching. Cheers.